The Big Day 30 update for Borderlands 3 is out now, adding new items for us to collect, or actually some items are already there after installing the update. We got some awesome features on the console that were already out on the PC, and of course the Bloody Harvest event, that is really cool. But that is not all, because we also learned a lot about the future of this game, and that we can expect a Christmas event, for example, but also Mayhem level 4 with exclusive legendary items, and way more, like the bank space upgrades in November. I will tell you everything you need to know. It's really a ton to get excited about, so let's get into it. Would be awesome, of course, if you could leave a like on the video if you are excited for the new content. And let's go. Let's start with that 1.05 update that you can download right now. It's a few gigs and it adds the content for the Bloody Harvest event. And you'll immediately notice that, by the way, thanks to the new spooky main menu. So wait in the main menu for a little bit, and then when the hotfix is applied, it changes to a sort of Halloween theme. Pretty cool. And then you can hop into the game. And this, by the way, good to note, you need to play online to be able to play the Bloody Harvest event. Like, otherwise you cannot start the quest. Oh, and by the way, a big side note, all the offline tactics I highlighted in my previous video, like the looting in the Jacobs Estate region, they are still there when you play the game without the hotfix, so when you play the game offline. Really thought they would change that, so I wanted to warn you, but that doesn't seem to be the case, so that's actually positive, right? Now you can see that video basically as a nice rundown of some awesome tactics that you can do when you play the game offline, like farm a ton of legendaries from this guaranteed looting. I will link to that video at the end of this one, but now let's go back to this update and the Bloody Harvest event that, again, you can only do when you play the game online. To start, you want to go to Maurice on Sanctuary 3, next to where you activate the Mayhem mode. We actually already highlighted this location in a previous video. He then gives you a quest where you need to collect 25 hectoplasm from the new haunted enemies, and they're really all around the galaxy. Like, I went to the Ferocious Canopy and found a ton of these enemies there, but they should really show up in many different locations and even in the Circle of Slaughter. And you can easily see these enemies thanks to the red effect that is around them. Taking them out will have a ghost or this sort of skull spawn that will be flying out of the corpse. Then you want to take that out, and then you get the hectoplasm. Do this until you got 25 of these items, and then you can go back to Maurice on Sanctuary, and he will then open a portal for you that takes you to this new map. And this map is really a ton of fun, including the new Captain Haunt boss. It's not a really long map though, but the idea is that you redo it, because after you finished it, you want to go back to Sanctuary, and then you need to get the 25 hectoplasm again before you can return and collect some of the new items. There are also new cosmetics that you can earn, and to my surprise they actually added 2 new hats for everyone that you can immediately use, the Skull and Domes one and the Tuned and Doomed one. So instead of unlocking them, Gearbox immediately gave them away, so you can immediately use them by going to one of the change stations. And they are, by the way, the same for every class. I like this one the most. Let me know your favorite in the comments down below. In the trailer we recently discussed in a previous video, we already could see the other cosmetics that we actually have to earn during this event by completing new challenges. And you can see these challenges in the menu next to the Guardian ranks, and there are 15 in total, and for completing them you can unlock all the cosmetic items. And for some of the challenges we have to kill some of the rare spawn bosses, but then the haunted version, or kill haunted badasses, kill Captain Haunt 25 times. And the challenges will be easily tracked when you start the event, and they don't seem to be that hard. But I will totally do tips and tricks for these challenges and for the event in general, showcase the new items that you can get. So totally keep it locked for that. Now I want to focus on this update and some of the new additions, because on console we now finally have the photo mode, for example, so we can take some cool pictures of our characters, change the time of day, and way more. Really happy about this for the thumbnails, for the videos, by the way. Also great is that we can now activate the Mayhem mode while playing the True Vault Hunter mode. First this was only on PC, but now by just going back to Sanctuary, even if you haven't finished the story on the True Vault Hunter mode yet, you can already put it on Mayhem 3 to have like a challenge while replaying the story. It's really great. And also the EchoCast extension now also works on the console, so I can stream on Twitch and then you can have benefits, for example. Another important change that we knew was coming has actually been applied, and that is for the flakker. So it was supposed to consume 1 ammo after the nerf that reduced the magazine to 1 and also reduced the damage. So then you had a magazine of 1 while it still consumed 5 ammo per shot. That was not really supposed to happen, so now they changed that. So now when you shoot the flakker, you only consume 1 ammo. So that's a pretty nice buff for a shotgun after a pretty significant nerf. They don't really mention any performance improvements with this update, although I did notice that the menu is now less laggy for me and it takes less time to get to my skills. What they do talk about is that the game performance and the stability are still top priority, but that we will actually see some big improvements in the upcoming November update, and we should see more improvements in the patches that follow that. Again, I already saw some improvements right here after this update, but totally let me know what your experience is. I'm really curious. Let me know in the comments down below. And again, this will just be the start. We should expect way more optimization updates. And this November update they just mentioned seemed to be a pretty big one. Maybe even bigger than the one we got today. We already discussed the fact that the bank space upgrades are coming. Well, now we know that we can expect the first of many planned expansions pretty soon, namely with the release of the takedown at Maliwan's Black Site. Did we know the name of that first takedown yet? I don't think so. Like, we have this small roadmap right here for the first few content updates, and there just said Maliwan takedown. And this, by the way, a sort of raid-like activity for a group, likely the most challenging content in the game yet. And I think we will learn more during the upcoming Borderlands show that should air very soon. But anyway, when that takedown drops, we should also expect a significant bank expansion with more than double the existing space. And that will be the first of many expansions, so we will have more in future releases. Really awesome, I cannot wait for that. I'm always struggling with bank space, and I think you too, right? So this cannot come soon enough. We don't know when the takedown will launch though. I first thought that it would be in November, but this blog post is kind of mentioning a November update and then the takedown update. So they seem to be two separate things. So yes, no concrete info yet, but again, I think during the Borderlands show we will likely have some answers. What we can expect in November though are the dedicated loot drops for the bosses. So we can easily farm for a specific item by just going to one boss, because that boss has a guaranteed chance to give you that loot. Right now they're working out which bosses they are giving which gear, and we can expect this to be ready as part of that November update. Again, like I said, that November patch is going to be massive. Oh, and there's more, because they're also talking about improvements to the Mayhem modes, including new Mayhem levels. So with the launch of that Maliwan Black Site takedown, we should see Mayhem 4. That should, and let's grab the article, have a significant challenge when it debuts, with tougher enemies that reward players with highly synergized character builds. A new batch of legendary gear will also only drop while in Mayhem 4 to reward those players who are truly up for the challenge. And in my opinion, this is one of the most exciting parts of the sort of future of Borderlands. New Mayhem levels with exclusive legendary gear that you can only get by playing this hardest difficulty. Right now, Mayhem 3 can be challenging for sure, kinda depends on the activity, but overall, especially when playing with other players, it's really way too easy. So this sounds really great. And they talk about more Mayhem improvements too, like more UI support, new Mayhem modifiers that change gameplay more dramatically, Mayhem playlist, new rewards, and additional levels of Mayhem to work through. So likely 5 and 6 in the future, I would imagine. We are excited about Mayhem 2.0, and we will talk more about it when we get a little closer to its release. So yes, bring it on, likely something we will see in December though, but I will keep you up to date here. We got more vending machines coming to the following regions that you see right here, so more places where we can refill our ammo, get some health. So likely in Athenas it will be close to that bridge or closer to Trant. They mentioned that it will be outside of a few boss arenas and a few in some of the bigger environments. So yes, I will totally be playing the True Vault Hunter mode more, because I can now immediately turn on the Mayhem mode on console, although it would be even better if we could also skip the cutscenes. And while we don't have this feature yet, Gearbox notes that they are looking into it, although they say that it's easier said than done. So they want to make sure that the mission progression isn't negatively impacted by this. No estimated time of arrival for this, but we will at least see it at one point. Other things they note is a target dummy in the shooting range on Sanctuary close to Marcus. That right now is not really that useful, but when they launch this one, you can really test your gear and your build more easily. We should expect this in an update in December. So the first time they note December, and we can very likely expect a Christmas event during that month too, because alongside the big blog post on the Borderlands website, they also had an article up on the PlayStation blog where they talked about the events and that they will share more info on the Mercenary Day event soon. And if you are familiar with Borderlands 2's Headhunter packs, then you know that this Mercenary Day is basically a Christmas DLC. So we should see a version of that in Borderlands 3 soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if that will happen after the Bloody Harvest event. So the Bloody Harvest event ends on December 6th, so maybe a week later or 10 days later we actually get this Mercenary Day event. And good to note is that these events will not only be based on holidays, but will also just be random things that the developers come up with. So yes, that is December. What we should also expect in the future are character buffs, and they in particular noted the companions again. We got a health buff for the Iron Bear, pets and the Digiclone in a recent hotfix. That did not really do a lot, at least for my pets, but we should expect way more changes to make them stronger in future updates. There are more smaller changes that happened right now, like the ability to select the Mayhem modes while matchmaking, and the volume of the 2K and Gearbox logo in the intro movies has been adjusted. I will leave a link to the full patch notes in the video description so you can easily read them for yourself. Totally subscribe for everything Borderlands 3 if you haven't already. Like the video to support the channel. And totally check out my previous video with some Bloody Harvest event info, although a full guide will be coming up too, but that will be after we played around with this event more. So totally expect that real soon, but you can already watch a more broader overview by clicking on the screen, or I will link to it at the end of our golden chest opening that Dennis and I always like to do, and this time we already have one of the new items from the Bloody Harvest event. Dennis, show me what you got. You've already been farming the Bloody Harvest event, you already got one of the items, right?
Yes, it's Spooky Grenade.
Oh wow, it looks awesome. Is that
it does corrosive damage too, so
will that go
pretty
to
useful
enemies?
against armor.
Will that go to enemies or is it just?
I think so, yeah.
Oh nice.
I think so, yeah.
Will we get Bloody Harvest items from the golden chest? Likely not, but let's hold our fingers crossed.
We can find out. Well, you can find out, because I'm not finding out anything.
By the way, I did clear up my inventory by a lot, so I should be able to clean out the golden chest too. Not that it's needed now, but also in preparation for the Bloody Harvest event. Okay, sadly we only have epic items. Okay, I want to go to that location, to the hack map, so we will have videos about the Bloody Harvest event up with tips and tricks and way more, so keep it locked to the channel. Subscribe for everything Borderlands 3. Check out our previous videos, you can watch them by clicking on the screen. And don't forget to leave a like, would be very appreciated. For now, we will speak to you next time, and goodbye.